I lost my mother when I was 10 years old. She passed away from an accidental overdose. And honestly, it changed the trajectory of my childhood. My story and the people, the guests that I have, their stories would assist people in different areas where they're uncomfortable. My show is to give them a voice, to vocalize what it is that they do, to vocalize their businesses, to exhibit who they are. They are hidden gems in the community. We'll be talking about anything from relationships to families to owning businesses and being full-time entrepreneurs, the whole nine. I'm a writer, I'm a business owner, I'm a mother of two. I am an innovator, cultivator, developer, determined. I'm Sandra Morrison, aka Sandra the author. Welcome to Sitting with Sandra. Hello, and welcome to Sitting with Sandra. I am Sandra Morrison, your host, aka Sandra the author. And today we have Dr. Amy Rucker, and we are going to be discussing relationships. How are you, Dr. Amy?
I'm absolutely wonderful. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. So let's just get right into it. It's Valentine's Day. I have so many questions, and I'm sure the people do as well. So you wrote a book, and it is titled Relationship Roadmaps. Mm-hmm. What inspired you to write that book?
Well, the real reason I wrote it is because I had a series of failed relationships and I was tired of getting it wrong. So I had to really sit myself down and do some reflection. And so I jotted down all the things that I believed that I got wrong, but I didn't just jot down what I believe. I actually asked the Holy Spirit, like, hey, show me the errors in my ways so that I don't take every situation to the next situation and destroy those things too. And so that's what really inspired it, so that I knew that the greatest lessons you learn from is from your failures. And so that's why it's called A Guide to Avoiding Relationship Pitfalls, is like the subtitle, so that I could teach people, if you avoid these things, then you should get the result that you desire. So that's kind of why I wrote it.
Is good. The best teacher is experience. And aside of experience, I feel like people always say, like, well, with age comes wisdom. And that's not true. I feel like with experience comes wisdom, because you can be 25 and know more than a 50-year-old.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And so that is amazing. So let me ask you, what defines a toxic relationship to you?
Ooh, you just coming out the gate swinging.
You know, we got, like, we're millennials, so you hear like toxic and narcissism, and you hear these terms.
A huge word lately.
And people don't know like what these terms really mean. They just throw them around.
Right.
But you have some background. So what defines a toxic relationship to you?
Well, something that's toxic is something that's not healthy. But the only reason something can be toxic is if the people in it isn't healthy. So a relationship is usually made up of two people. And if either one of those people are unhealthy, it usually will contaminate the entire relationship, unless the one that's healthy is strong enough to help the other one change, which typically don't be the case. What happens is, like, there's this story that a person put a rotten, like, orange inside of a bowl with a bunch of healthy oranges. And it said soon enough, it had deteriorated all or contaminated all the other oranges. So I think that's the same thing with relationships. What makes it toxic is the people that's in it. I mean, from their behavior, which is probably learned. It's probably because they're around other poor people, so they have poor examples. They don't understand what relationships is, because a lot of people don't even qualify to be in relationships. So if you don't even qualify to be in something, there's not going to be a positive outcome. If you don't even if you don't have the proper outlook, there's never going to be the proper outcome.
That's good. That's real good. So a relationship is between two people, not 45 people. Amazing.
No, not your family, not your friends, not your co-workers, not all these different people. And the problem is, we get all of these opinions for something that's an outlooker onlooking something. And if you don't even know the nuances within a thing, you're not going to be able to properly give advice for it. Now, there's times where you can, but for the most part, no. But it's two people. Now, a marriage, that's three people. A relationship itself is normally two people, and you want to keep everybody out your business.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of relationships fail because you got in-laws and different friends and different perspectives, and they don't have to go home with the person. You do. Right. You know what I mean? And my bishop always told me that in-laws become outlaws once you're married. Your relationship is a covenant between you, God, and your spouse. Right. But people tend to forget that. And with the days and how things go and all the stuff that is popular on social media, they start feeling like, okay, this is normal. Right. And they take on the wrong traits. What would you say defines a woman or a man of integrity?
Ooh. A woman or man of integrity is a person to do right when nobody's looking. Doesn't matter what it is. Will I do right even when you're not around? And watch this. Temptation, people think temptation is bad, but temptation play a role. It's meant to see if you'll do what is right. And so a lot of people don't do what's right when they're tempted, which is the time that you need to do it, because a person is not made of what they do, who they are when other people are watching. It's who they are when nobody's looking. That's who you really are. Not for the camera, not for the IG page, not for the Twitter page, not for the Snapchats, not for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse, with all these social media outlets. We put on a picture for it. But now, who are you when them doors close, when them lights go off? That's who you really are. Do you like that person? Right. And so a woman or man of integrity, they always do what's right, even when nobody's around.
Whew, that's good. That's really good. A lot of times people put on a facade. And a lot of times it's because they don't like who they are. And you know, if you don't like you, ain't nobody else gonna like you. Right. You know what I mean?
Or you expect people to deal with you when you don't like you.
Right.
Like, no. Right.
Yes. Wow, this is some good information. So it's Valentine's Day, and we are approaching the day of love, and that's what they call love, and they define it as roses and candles and things like that. But what advice would you give couples who are going to be celebrating Valentine's Day?
Listen, don't keep up with the status quo. A lot of people fail trying to keep up with the Joneses. What's for your relationship works for your relationship. But you actually said it with your bishop. You said something that was so powerful that I want to make sure we touch. He said, in-laws become outlaws. And you know why that is? And just because this will give some advice to what your question was, is the fact that when you go tell somebody about your spouse, you can dictate how they're going to alter their feelings towards them, even when your feelings never change. And the biggest issues people have is you tell somebody about your spouse. Now this person is looking at the spouse crazy, but you still want to be with the person. Dangerous. And so as it relates to Valentine's, we've already talked about it. Keep people out your stuff. Don't compare your relationship to nobody else's. You do what's best for you. Do not keep up with the status quo. You don't got to go out here and spend all of this money, and especially when you ain't got it to spend. Find out what's really important to your spouse and do that thing. Remember some small stuff that they said that they liked and do that. A lot of people now are so selfish, and relationships are meant to be selfless. And so for this Valentine's, do something different that is priceless that your mate will remember. And so whether that's cleaning the house, taking anything, the greatest tool to helping somebody is usually taking something off their plate.
That's good. Yeah.
If I could take a load off of you, even if it's for a day, come get the kids and just take them out and you send me to the spa. That's something that a person could appreciate, because guess what? Space in relationships also help the relationship, and people don't believe that. So some of the things you need to do in your relationship is create space. Give him space, give her space, because it's time for a person to evaluate. It's time for a person to reflect. It's time for them to spend time with God. And so those are some of the things that you need to do. But don't run out and spend all this money for one day. If it takes you one day to prove that you love a person and you ain't shown it all year, one day doesn't matter.
Whew. See, I heard that. She don't want the $50 roses, okay? A nice bubble bath and you ain't got to do the dishes tonight will suffice.
Right.
I know that's right.
Right.
I've never been big on, I want you to buy me this. And that's nice. You know, I'm appreciative. But really just giving me some quiet time. Right. That's romantic to me. Right. You know what I mean? Letting me know that you know my need for alone time, because at that point I'm able to evaluate. I'm able to figure out, okay, what has changed within me? If I'm with you 24/7,
Right. I don't know what in me has changed because I'm so used to being with you. Right. And God forbid something happens to you or me, and we're not able to be together 24/7. We have to know what it's like to be alone sometimes. Right. That's really important. I have a great question.
Go for it.
And I know you got some stuff. What advice would you give to someone who is in a season of singleness right now?
Oh my gosh. There's so much stuff you need to do in your singleness. One, get yourself right with God. Because here's the thing. You got to go vertical before you can go lateral. And if your relationship with God is not right, the relationship with the other people won't matter. If you don't know you trying to figure out everybody else won't work because you don't even know what that looks like or what you need because you don't know you. And so in your singleness, discover who you are. Really get down to the little nuances. Do I like this? Don't I like this? Am I healed? Why did that hurt me? Really figure out you, because what I learned about people, a lot of people don't even know them. They don't know who they are. They don't know whose they are. So you want me to take all of the stuff you know nothing about and try to figure it out for you. And that's misplaced expectations, which ruins relationships as well. So get your money right. So first get in your Bible or get with your relationship with God.
You gotta get in your bag.
Get in your Bible. Yeah, because that's going to be critical. Why would you want after your singleness to take a bunch of stuff and put it on somebody else? That's unfair to them. Get your credit right, get your money right, work out all those little kinks and twists if you got kids, because I'm really sick of hearing that women with kids are invaluable. We have been hearing a lot of that lately. But guess what? Everybody's situation ain't the same. Everybody doesn't have a baby mama mentality. Some people are real live women that you can take them qualities and she'll make an amazing wife. And so that's one of the things. So know that singleness is a gift. It is not for you to swindle it around, because that time you could be doing so much. That's the time you accomplish the stuff that you need to get accomplished, so that when you get a part of a team, you know how to pull your weight and do your part.
Whew. Girl, I should have had my notebook. That is amazing advice. I thank God for you, Dr. Amy Rucker. And so your book, Relationship Roadmaps, where can that be found at?
So it's on my website, www.amyrucker.com, but it's also on my Amazon, and there's some other places. If you just Google Amy Rucker or Relationship Roadmap, it'll show you all the different places. So Amazon or my website are the best places. And sometimes if you're in my city, I normally keep a stack on deck. So if you see me somewhere, I'll probably have some in the car.
All righty. Well, you guys heard it from the source. Go ahead and pick up Relationship Roadmaps. This is the guide to avoid failing. All right. And so we are very thankful to have had you on the show. We are very appreciative of your company. Is there any parting advice you have?
Ooh, parting advice. I'll say this. Growth is intentional. You got to really, in order to have healthy relationships, you first got to grow you, because you will date, marry, and be involved with people according to your level of mental health or your intelligence and capacity of even relationships. If you only know little about relationships, you're only going to get a little out of it. So in order to get more, you got to grow more.
That's good. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a pleasure. Dr. Amy Rucker, thank you for stopping by. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and there will be more. Check us out on Sitting with Sandra.